right, so last chapter of the semester. So this whole chapter is going to be on what's called systems of equations. Solving a system by graphing. So here's like the thing that you really need to kind of put in your head for this chapter. The solution to a system, and I'll talk about what a system is in a second, is the point where the lines cross. Okay, so in the beginning of the chapter, we're going to do a little bit of graphing stuff at the end also, but at the first 3 or 4 sections, we're finding the point where the lines cross. So first, you will have, you're not finding the solution, it's asking you if something is a solution. So is 2, 5 a solution? And we'll have x plus y equals 7 and 2x minus 3y equals negative 11. So a system is just more than one line. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with 2 equations for almost the whole chapter. Solving an equation is going to be like kind of a big deal, not necessarily today, but in the days to come. So, all right, is it a solution? You need to check both equations. So we're just plugging in the information. So 2 is x, 5 is y, and 7 equals 7. So yes, 2, 5 is a solution to the first line. That means it's on the line. If I graph the line, 2, 5 would be on the line. Okay, and then on this side, I'm going to plug it in. And we get 4 minus 15 is negative 11. And so that one's a yes also. So then the answer to the whole thing is also yes. If you got yes for one and no for another one, then the answer is no. So if you go back to, I think it's all the way even back into chapter 2, and then for sure in chapter 3, I talked about whenever the directions are, is something a solution, how you do the problem is to plug it in. Well, in this case, we're plugging in a point. Okay, so is it a solution? Plug it in. Plug it into both. Okay, so if you plug it into the first one and you get no, number one, I would double check your work just to make sure that you added stuff correctly or subtracted or multiplied. But if you verify it and you're like, yeah, this is a no, then there's no need to plug it into the second one because it has to be a yes for both. So don't plug it in the first one, then if you get a no, just immediately think the answer is no. You might be right, but I would just double check your work first. Okay, same thing if you plugged it into the first one, you got yes, and then you got a no. Just double check that you're the no part, just in case. All right, so then we'll also have to do some graphing. Okay, so in my opinion, The bigger the graph, the better. It'll be more obvious what the answer is. And if you happen to have graph paper, even better. Alright, so I'm going to do this first line in blue. So positive 5 y-intercept. So remember slope-intercept form. B is the y-intercept. The m part is the slope. So y-intercept of 5, so on the y-axis go to 5. And then the slope is negative 2 over 1. So it's a whole number, put the 1 on the bottom. That means go down 2, 1 to the right. And then I like to do it again. Down 2 and over 1 to the right. And sometimes that can be helpful. Okay. Alright, so oh, it's supposed to be -1, not +1. Alright, I'm going to do the second one in red. So -1 for the y-intercept. Then the slope is 4 over 1, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And so remember, the answer is the point where the two lines cross. So they crossed at 1, comma 3. Okay, so I will tell you that on all the problems today, the graphing ones, that the answers are always a whole number. So you wouldn't get a point that's like 1 and then 2.5. Excuse me. Okay, so if the point's close to 1, it's not right on like the whole number, but it's close, then use that number. Alright, so some of your problems will not be set up in slope-intercept form. Okay, so you'll need to move them around. So that one ended up being the same line, but okay, so you're going to add or subtract the x part over, and then divide if you need to. This first one we didn't need to. So here I can't do 3 divided by 2, but I can do a negative and a negative make a positive. And then 4 divided by -2 is -2. And honestly, if you didn't do the minus minus thing here with the 3 and the 2, and you did the slope as -3 and then -2, and you did it right, you would get the right answer. So it's not a huge deal. Okay, so we're going to do this line in red, up 5, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So again, I do it a couple times just because it creates another point on the line, and it might be useful. So we'll do this one in blue, down 2, and the slope is +3, +2. So up 1, 2, 3 to the right 2, and if you hit the line, then you're good. So remember I said if you did the -3 and -2, if you go down 3 and then to the right 2, you'd hit the line right there, and then if you connected them correctly, it'd still work out. Okay, so here's our point where the lines cross. Okay, that's what we're looking for. And again, they'll all be whole numbers. Okay. I will tell you that on all the answers, some of them are graphed for you. There's 4 problems where they're already graphed, so just where's the point where the lines cross, and you're good. Okay, but there's 8 of them that you have to graph on your own, 13 to 20. I will tell you that on all of them except for number 15 and 16, the numbers are less than 5 in your answer. So both numbers are less than 5. 15 and 16, the numbers are kind of big, so you're going to need to draw bigger graphs. Okay? So, actually, you know what? I'm going to delete that. So you don't have to do 15 and 16. I'll change that, because that's kind of dumb to have to draw a really big, huge graph. Okay, so all the numbers on your answers are going to be less than 5. Okay, or down into the negatives. Like you could have a negative number, but not -6, -7. So 5 or under. Okay. All right. Where do the lines cross? That's the big key for our systems. All right. Have a good rest of your Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.